Hello and welcome back to the AA NBA podcast. I'm your host, Dayton Hammond.
And I'm Aditya.
And today we have got a little bit of news. And then we're going to play a game. Aditya, I don't know. Aditya, you can take over. I don't really know the details of the game.
I'm the game master. So pretty much, it's not much of a game as it is like a trivia thing. So I got I looked up some stuff, found some weird statistics, and I'm going to have you guess. I'm going to present it, but I'm not obviously going to tell you what the number is, and then I'm going to have you guess the number.
Okay.
So, yeah.
Sounds
it's not
good.
multiple choice, so I'm going to say, if you're within a reasonable range, I'll, give you the points, because otherwise I feel like it'd be almost impossible.
Okay.
But, yeah. So we'll do that at the end.
All right.
So let's start off power rankings.
Yes.
I think you went first last time, so I'll take it.
All right.
And starting at number 5, I have the Denver Nuggets. They are the 4 seed in the West. They're, half a game back from the Clippers or something like that, who's the 3 seed. They went 3-0 this past week. They beat the Grizzlies, Pelicans, and Raptors. And overall, pretty good week. Obviously, they're missing Jamal Murray, but they've been fine so far. Michael Porter Jr. stepped up on scoring, at least. Not so much on other things, but he has filled the scoring void left by Jamal Murray. So I got them at number 5.
All right. I have got the Nuggets at number 5 as well. The Nuggets are good. They're really good. They have... okay. Sorry about that. I got to get the standings pulled up. I forgot to do that. They have continued to be good in Jamal Murray's absence, as you noted. I really like them. They're 4th in the West. They would be 2nd in the East right now. They are a good basketball team. Tied for 2nd, but I think they've beaten the Sixers head-to-head, so... Yeah.
Is that all you got?
Yeah.
All right. Number 4, I have the 76ers. They went 3-0 this week as well, same as the Nuggets. They're the 2 seed in the East, same record as the Nuggets, as you mentioned. They beat the Thunder and the Hawks twice. And, not ironically, but coincidentally, they have the same distance between them and the Nets at the 1 seed as the Nuggets do with the Clippers, who are the 3 seed in the West.
Ooh.
So they are pretty much in the same position as the Nuggets, just in a worse conference.
So what I'm hearing is the Clippers are the best team in the Eastern Conference. That's what you're telling me.
They'd be tied for best team in the Eastern Conference, yes.
Yes.
So I just had them edging out the Nuggets a little bit because... 1, they've been on our power rankings for longer, and they are technically the higher seed.
Okay. I have the Los Angeles Clippers at my 4 spot. They're 43-21. They would be tied for the 1st seed in the East. They're 3rd in the West right now, but they're only 2.5 games back from the Jazz and the Suns, who are deadlocked at the number 1 seed. They're 7-3 in their last 10. This is without Kawhi playing a majority of those games, by the way. So the Clippers are really coming together. This definitely feels, and I'm going to say this, and I'm definitely going to regret it in about a month and a half. This definitely feels, I feel a lot more confident about the Clippers than I was at the end of the regular season last year. Because at the end of the regular season, I was like, okay, they're the favorite to win the West. And that was mostly because I didn't want the Lakers to win. I just wanted the Clippers to win. But I also thought that they were good. But I was a little worried about them. Mm-hmm. I am not as worried about the Clippers this year. I feel like it's kind of coming together for them. They are underrated. They are not the title threat in the West that they were perceived to be last year, if that makes sense. They're just kind of they're kind of there. They're playing good basketball. And, I guess they could finish in the 4 seed if the Nuggets stay hot. But, there's a chance that they don't. And I like I like their team composition. I like how well they're playing without Kawhi. Like 7-3 in the last 10 with how good the West is without Kawhi Leonard is very impressive. So I don't think that can be understated. I like the Clippers a lot this year. They're definitely not my favorites in the West. I would say they're probably the second or third team. But I do like them. So.
All right. They actually didn't make my list, but coming in at number 3, I have the Brooklyn Nets. Now, they're the 1 seed in the East. They'd be tied with the Clippers at the 3 seed in the West. But they've been playing pretty well. I mean, when you have a lot of good players, that's what tends to happen. In this past week, they went 3-1. They beat the Suns, they beat the Raptors, and they beat the Pacers, and then they dropped the game to the Trailblazers. But overall, a very good week, some good wins under their belt. And, they're the 1 seed, so they were obviously going to be very high on the power rankings. They've been playing well, and, yeah, I mean, hopefully they can, keep it up in the playoffs, which, I mean, I don't see why they wouldn't, I guess. James Harden is the only legitimate playoff concern, but we've already kind of talked about that on the podcast.
I have the Nets at number 3 as well for basically all the same reasons. I will say, I think a lot of James Harden's past playoff performances based more on the load he's had to carry in the regular season and not being able to play into the playoffs. And I think having Durant and Kyrie with him should improve that.
Yeah, that's kind of what I was implying when I said we've talked about it in the past, because I think we both share that same opinion about it. Do you have anything else to say?
No.
All right, coming in at number 2.
So that might not pick up on the mic, but it should.
Oh, okay. So yeah, if you guys didn't hear him, or if that sounded weird, he's in the kitchen right now.
Back up Wawa for the podcast. Gotta keep my throat nice and loose.
Are you back yet?
Not quite. I'm still in the kitchen.
Not quite. All right, he's still in the kitchen.
It says it's picking up on Audacity, so it should be kind of quiet.
Okay.
Now I'm back.
That's fine. Okay, we're good. In case you didn't hear him, which I'm assuming you did, but he just said pretty much what we've both been saying about James Harden is that his poor playoff performances.
Oh no, I came back to the mic for that.
Oh, okay. Never mind. We're good.
I had my water bottle in the fridge and filling up, and it started to overflow, so I had to go run back over to get in.
Okay, I got you. Coming in at number 2, I have the Utah Jazz. The reason I have them at number 2 instead of number 1 is because just in this past week, they have been a letdown, to say the least. Yes. They were 1-2 this past week. They beat the Kings, which they should have. And then they dropped 2 to the Timberwolves, which you shouldn't do ever.
You should never do that.
They have 12 wins on the season. That's over 10% of their season wins right there. And that was in a week to your team, and you're supposed to be the 1 seed? Come on, Jazz.
Yeah.
Be better.
I should say they lost those games by a combined 6 points. So it sounds a lot worse than it. It's still very bad, but it sounds a lot worse than it is.
It sounds worse than it is, but again, those 2 back-to-back losses make up more than 10% of the Timberwolves' wins this season.
Yeah, Jesus Christ, that's horrible.
Because they're a bad team. But yeah, I mean, the Jazz are obviously still very good. They just had a bit of a slump this week. Yeah. But yeah, as we've established, my power rankings are a little more week to week than Aiden's, so it might differ here.
It actually doesn't. I've got the Jazz at 2 as well. I think I said last week that if the Suns continued to outplay the Jazz, I would put them on them, and they did. The Jazz dropped 2 games to the Timberwolves alone, which that alone. But then they also dropped a head-to-head game to the Suns by about 20 points last night. The Suns thoroughly outplayed them. And yeah, they beat the Kings by 50 points, but that was their only good win. They beat the Rockets by 30 points. That was I guess the only good win of the week was the... Actually, no. None of these are correct. Okay. They beat the Timberwolves twice. They beat the Kings.
No, they lost.
Or they lost to the Timberwolves twice. They had 1 win. Yeah, they were 1-3 It was against the Kings. They got beat by the Suns and really thoroughly outplayed by them.
Oh yeah.
So I can't put them above the Suns.
Yeah. I mean, that leaves us with number 1. We both have the Suns. You
Yes.
kind of hinted at it. They beat the Jazz thoroughly last night. They went 3-1 in this past week. They beat the Knicks, Clippers, and Jazz. All 3 very good wins. And then they dropped 1 to the Nets, which is fine loss. Nothing to be ashamed of there. And I said this last night, and it seems a lot less possible now given the seedings, but I feel like a Suns-Jazz playoff series would have been one of the most entertaining series of like the entire playoffs. Because every time they faced off, obviously the game last night wasn't as close as some of the other ones, but every single game they've played has been entertaining.
Yeah, I agree. It's been a shootout. Those are two teams. Chris Paul. I don't think Chris Paul has ever liked somebody that he was playing against, but they really don't like each other a lot.
Chris Paul and who?
I don't think Chris Paul has ever liked a player he's playing against.
Yeah.
But he especially doesn't like playing the Jazz. You can tell that those teams don't like each other. And I think that's always a cool thing to see when you can just tell teams hate each other. I like that a lot.
Which is strange because I feel like Chris Paul doesn't have a reason to hate the Jazz.
Chris Paul hates everybody, dude.
I know.
It's weird when I see awesome. Chris Paul dapping somebody up after a game. It's not LeBron or somebody he's known to be friends with. It's weird that it is weird to see Chris Paul doing something like that. That Steve Kerr clip is whatever comes to mind. He's the ultimate competitor. He can he's not a mean guy, but he gets in that mode during games and just, is going to be an asshole.
You remember when the Rockets played the Clippers and after the game Chris Paul went to the Clippers locker room to
yes.
confront them?
He knew the inside of that stadium like the back of his hand and used it to his advantage to start a fight.
Yeah.
That's what
awesome.
I think of when I think of Chris Paul. So but it feels like they especially don't like the Jazz, and maybe they're just two good teams, and good teams when they're playing they feel challenged, and
Mm-hmm.
But it's just the sort of not they don't seem to like each other. There's no camaraderie or anything, which is good.
Yeah.
I like to see that. I like it when really good teams hate each other. I don't I'm fine with seeing players dapping each other up, but I really the NBA is better when the best teams in each conference hate each other. Absolutely hate each other.
Within reason, because we don't want any violence.
Within reason, absolutely. No, I'm not saying a malice at the palace, but it's cool. It's cool when really good players aren't just buddies. And I'm not one of those people that's players are too nice to each other today. But it's
this generation soft.
Yeah, exactly. But it's fun to see players get really competitive. These are the best athletes in the world. It's it's part of the reason why they're great athletes is because they're so competitive. So It's cool when that kind of shows through, and that's why I would love to see a Jazz Suns series.
Yeah. Now for the news, which I'm going to be honest, there's not a lot of, but we'll make do with what we have. Starting off, LeBron James has returned. And not only has he returned, but he's also stated that he doesn't think he'll ever be at 100% again. What do you think about that?
I mean, LeBron James is the best player I've ever seen. He's... obviously I wasn't alive to witness Michael Jordan, so I can't speak on that. But since I've been alive, LeBron James has been the most consistently dominant. LeBron James dominating the NBA is the only consistent in my life. Tom Brady's been really good, but he hasn't been, ultra dominant like LeBron James has. LeBron has been the best player in the NBA from really, when I was in, first grade to now. So it is sort of I never liked LeBron, but I always, I've always really respected him, and it is cool to watch him, to be able to say that I witnessed a guy like that play. So for him to come out and be I don't think I'm ever going to be at 100% again. Part of it feels like a LeBron mind game because he does this shit all the time with the media and with the fans. And it's just part of how he, gets himself psyched up. even though he's been the underdog less times in his career than he's been favored, he always has the underdog mentality or tries to make himself into the underdog. So, I feel like part of this is a LeBron mind game, but hearing him saying that, it does make me sad a little bit, I gotta say.
Yeah, it does. It's like, obviously not the end of an era yet because, well, first of all, he's played through multiple eras. But
he's
also,
been, he's gone from the leagues. That's cool, is he's played so long that he's played in both the league's absolute slowest paced years to the absolute fastest paced years and stayed consistently great through all of them.
Yeah. And that's like, I'm in the same boat as you are. Like, I don't particularly like LeBron as a Pacers/Bulls fan, especially. A lot of heartbreak has come from LeBron.
Yeah, he's
really
beating the shit out of the pace. That's what I don't understand about people that are like, I love LeBron, but I'm also a fan of an Eastern Conference team. Like, that's not the Cavaliers.
That's
like,
not
you can't have
the
it both
Cavs or
ways.
the Heat. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, I'm a Celtics fan, but LeBron's really my favorite player. Like, no, he's not. Stop. You're not. You're either not a Celtics fan or you're not a LeBron fan. You got to make up
He's
your mind.
beating the shit out of your team consistently. I don't understand.
Yeah, but he is. I mean, again, you said it. You got to respect him. Like, he's one of the best players ever. And I feel like a lot of people kind of take that for granted. And people don't like. I also saw like when there was like those Instagram posts that came out about the quote. Everyone was like, "Come on, LeBron, it's an ankle sprain." Like, he's already making all these excuses, and it's like, yeah, he's like 36 years old.
He's
been putting his body through this. Like, he's 36 years old, playing MVP type, like putting up MVP numbers like 35 minutes a game. No one else is doing that. Like, it's gonna have a toll on your body no matter how much money you put into it.
Yeah.
So hopefully we get, well, I don't want to say hopefully we get more LeBron dominance because that means the Lakers succeeding, but like, I don't want to see him like not be, it feels weird for him to not be like one of the most dominant players in the league.
It would definitely be an adjustment. And even if he, like, I mean, even those last couple years of Kobe, like, it was still comforting that Kobe was in the league. He just wasn't Kobe anymore. Like, I would be fine if that ended up being what happened with LeBron, where he's, like, still in the league. He's still, like, an all-star, but he's just not, like, that LeBron anymore. It would be definitely an adjustment, but I think it would be, I would like to see that more than I would like to see him just retire. Because I've said for a while that I think that the second he feels like he's dipping off, he's just going to retire, like Michael Jordan did. Like, Michael Jordan knew that he was not going to be able to continue to be the most elite player he could, and I think that's why he retired in 98, or I guess technically 99. So I feel like I've always been of the opinion that when LeBron feels like he can't do it anymore to the level that he's set himself up to do it at, he'd probably just retire. I don't know. And I feel like
which is fine. He's made enough money to set up his great-great-grandkids for life. But, like,
yeah,
it'll be a sad day.
It will be a sad day.
Speaking of LeBron, his former teammate Anderson Varejao has just signed an NBA contract for some reason. I don't really know why. I wasn't expecting that.
I wasn't expecting that either.
If someone told me yesterday at 10 a.m. that Anderson Varejao was going to be on an NBA roster, I would have said, ha, funny joke.
Yeah, good one.
But now he's signed with the Cavs.
Yeah. I don't get this one. I
don't either. First of all, there's definitely better players you could have signed, right? Second of all, why? He's not going to play. There's a reason he hasn't been in the league in a while. You know, I don't understand. Like, it's a weird move.
Yeah, I mean, if they just, like, because, like, they're obviously not going to make the playoffs. If they're just, like, screwing around and want to have fun, I guess I get it.
He's a 38-year-old. At least, I don't know.
Seems
at least get
like
someone that's within NBA playing age range. Like, this is like if your team was really bad and you weren't going to make the playoffs and you were like, let's have fun and sign Jamal Crawford.
Yeah, this does
sense.
feel like, you remember when the Suns signed, like, Jimmer Fredette and Jamal Crawford for the last, like, 7 games of that season a couple years ago? This
I
feels
remember
like
they
that.
signed Jimmer to like
Or
a
maybe it was
2-year
Jimmer.
deal.
Maybe they had Jamal all season, but they signed
Yeah,
Jimmer at the very. That's what it is. Jamal had like a 50-point game at the end of the year, and it was the first time I'd heard Jamal Crawford's name in like a year, and I was like, oh,
Yeah. But they signed Jimmer to like a 2-year
Yeah.
contract. I'm like, this is just like, it's so random, but I kind of dig it, I'm not complaining.
Yeah, I'm not either. I remember that year where he got traded, I think, to the Warriors halfway through the
Warriors.
year, or did he get cut and just go to the Warriors?
I think he got cut.
So yeah,
don't quote me on that, but
he got cut halfway through the season, and then obviously, they go on to go 73-9 and lose in the finals, and he got a ring from the Cavs because he was like there at the beginning of the season, which is so funny because he was there for so long through so many horrific Cavaliers teams, and then like the second they are good, he has to leave, like he's forced to leave. Yeah, he hasn't played since 2017 with the Warriors. He's been with Flamengo, which is a Brazilian basketball club in Rio. He's Brazilian, so I guess that makes sense.
Yeah, there you go.
He's been in the league so long that he was selected in the second round with the 30th overall pick instead of the first round with the 30th overall pick. So that's cool.
Before the expansion?
Yeah, it was, I think the Bobcats were 2005 expansion. Yeah. Or maybe 2004, and that was just the same year they did the supplemental draft.
I don't know. Either way, it's definitely odd. I have on my phone, my like wallpaper is the Dwayne Wade poster dunk on Anderson Varejao. No offense to Anderson Varejao, but it is like one of the best dunks ever in Dwayne.
It is. It's a very cool dunk. You don't need to apologize for that.
Well, it's like in case obviously he's probably a very big fan of our program here. I don't want to push him away. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I think we determined that Anderson Varejao is like top 10 in multiple Cavaliers categories.
Yeah, he's top 10 in
he's
rebounds.
Top 10 in rebounds and blocks, yeah.
Yeah.
So he's like the best defensive center to ever play for the Cavaliers.
Him and Tristan Thompson.
Actually, no, Ben Wallace was there for like 5 minutes.
Yeah, but he wasn't good on the Cavs.
Yeah, that's true.
On the Cavs, their best defensive centers either Anderson Varejao or like Tristan Thompson, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeesh. Yeah. Next up, the Denver Nuggets sign Austin Rivers. This is probably just to try and get a little more scoring from the guard depth, obviously. I thought he was on the Knicks. Maybe that was last season or he got cut. I don't know. I thought he was on the Knicks. But what do you think of this?
I don't know. What do you think?
I think it's fine. I mean, it's Austin Rivers, so like, he's not going to go out there and drop 30 or 20 a night, but he can give you like 10 on the bench or whatever. And again, I also don't think they need an insane amount of scoring production either because Michael Porter Jr.'s kind of picked it up offensively. Defensively, that team leaves a lot to be desired, but they did already, so I guess not much has changed.
Yeah, it's kind of like it feels like a guard depth move. Because without Jamal Murray, their guards aren't and Gary Trent, their guards aren't super. Well, not
Gary Harris.
Gary Harris. Without Gary Harris and Jamal, their guards aren't super duper deep. Mm-hmm. So, I do like that move. And Austin Rivers is all right. Like he's a long guard. He's solid defensively. I like that move.
Yeah. Next up, John Wall is out for the season. The Rockets said it was because of a hamstring injury, but I'm pretty sure he's just sitting out the season because it's the last season and they don't want him to get hurt. That being said, though, I mean, it's not like he has any trade value, really. Like,
I mean, it's better than it. He has better trade value than if he was hurt still, or if he got hurt again.
I guess, yeah. But yeah, so John Wall out for the rest of the season, which I mean, again, they weren't doing anything anyway. But him being out for the season leads into our next topic. Kevin Porter Jr., the new James Harden.
Yeah.
He got caught breaking NBA COVID rules by being at a strip club and then proceeded to drop 50 and 10.
Yeah, that was pretty sick. I cannot lie. Apparently, the comments he made that annoyed me were made in an Instagram Live, which, like, I can't fault him for talking shit in an Instagram Live. Like, I'm not gonna...
Yeah, so for people that don't know, there was, like, a bunch of media outlets were posting, like, after the game, because he had that 50 and 10 on the Bucks, and he was like, did you guys, I forget exactly what it was, but he talked about pretty much how he had Drew Holiday sliding on the court or whatever.
Apparently it was like, it like picked up in the locker room too, like he was just talking to one of his teammates and he said that. I thought he said that in an interview, and I was like, that's kind of dweeby, but he said it to his teammates in the locker room, and he wasn't even, like, he wasn't addressing the camera, so I mean, I can't really have an issue with that, you know?
Yeah, he had a good game. Another good game. Jason Tatum dropped 60, and Celtics fans are having a little too much fun with it.
Yeah, he is the greatest player in Celtics history outside of Bill Russell. And my brain wanted to say Bill Walton so bad there, and I was like,
I thought you were like doing a little, like a joke there, like doing a little bit as like a Celtics fan that's like talking about Jason Tatum.
I was, but I didn't mean to stutter that much.
I thought that was like part of it. I didn't know you actually forgot Bill Russell's name.
No, I wanted to say Bill Walton. I don't know why. Like, I know who Bill Russell is. Like, he's awesome. Yeah, I mean, he's incredible.
There's genuinely people that were saying that Jason Tatum is the second best Celtic ever behind Larry Bird.
Yeah, those are the Celtics fans that, like, have been Celtics fans since they're like, I've been a lifelong Celtics fan, and they're like 10 years old.
Oh, yeah. Well, we talked about this yesterday, and it's like, to be fair, this is the second most successful team the Celtics have had in like 20 years. Okay,
you shouldn't say that, because they have had more successful teams. Like, they've gotten consistent 1 seeds. They've been to multiple Eastern Conference finals. Do you mean roster?
Sure. I'm just talking hypothetical. Like, I'm not actually serious. They've had 1 seeds, obviously. But, like, what I mean is their level of success, like, if you were, like, a young Celtics fan, right? This is a considerably larger amount of buzz that your team has had with a guy like Jason Tatum.
Sense. Okay.
Other than Paul Pierce and that big four or whatever they call themselves.
Yes, that makes sense. Okay, I thought you were saying, like, this is the best team the Celtics have had, and I'm like, that's verifiably false.
No, not
like
literally.
The 6th best team in the East right now.
Yeah, not literally the best team. I'm just talking from the perspective of a young kid that's buying a little too much into the Jason Tatum hype.
Yeah. No, I definitely get why they would say that, but it's just very dumb.
But yeah, that's pretty much all we've actually had news-wise. Not really anything has happened. I guess another not notable, but another thing is that I think it's in Wisconsin, they were like trying to pass a law that harassing refs can be punished by jail time or something.
Yeah, but
that's not going to happen.
I feel like that should fall under like just any harassment law. Like, they shouldn't need to make a specific law for refs. Like, if you yell obscenities at just a random guy walking down the street, you might get fined for it, you know?
Mm-hmm.
So I don't understand why it's any different for refs. Especially because the United States, like, I've read stories about people in, like, Europe, like, just, like actually, like, assaulting refs and sometimes killing them. Or, like, international, like, people during soccer matches, yeah. Like, people in soccer get really, like, into it. And, like, I've heard, like, not, like, Premier League, like, club leagues and stuff. But, like, I've heard stories about refs being, like, murdered. So the United States, in comparison to other countries, refs have it pretty easy here.
Well, yeah, also a referee, if you pass the ball to a ref a little too hard, you might get jail time, apparently. Because
Only
that
if you're an
can be,
NBA player.
yeah, if you're in, obviously, yeah, not in any other league. But in the NBA, bounce it a little too hard, you might laugh a little bit in the game, that's jail time. I mean,
Dude, if you laugh in an NBA basketball game, you should
that's
be
unacceptable.
thrown in prison.
Give him life.
Yeah, give him life.
I mean, 'cause that's just like if you get mad a little bit, can't be having that flexing. No, sir.
No
like these are all
way.
serious crimes, and they need to be addressed as such.
Yeah. I agree. I mean, if you throw a beer bottle at a referee, that's one thing. But I like, what does this law say? I didn't really read the whole thing. Does it say like, hey, if you yell, like if you would tell a ref to like, you know,
I'm sure that's not the actual thing. I just remember seeing the post about it, and I thought I'd bring it up because we didn't have much other news. It was like the NBA referee Twitter page or whatever, like retweeted, and it was this law that was being passed in Wisconsin about like harassing a referee can result in jail time. I don't know if it's passed or not. I don't know the details of it, but I just remember seeing that post that like the referee NBA Twitter page retweeted that or something like that. Which I didn't even know they had a Twitter page. That just seems like
they have like a players association for refs. It's the NBA. It's the NBRA.
Yeah. But yeah, that's all we got for news. So now it's game time. Are you ready?
Yes, sir.
All right. So again, I already kind of described it. I'm going to present this sort of question based on an NBA stat line or record of some kind. And I'm not going to tell you the number. If you get close enough to it, I'll give you the points because it's not multiple choice.
Okay.
In 1948, Giff Rowe missed blank free throws in a row. And this is the NBA record for most missed free throws in a row.
Is it over multiple games?
Yes. This was a strategy known before. It was the OG Hack-a-Shack, the Hack-a-Row.
Hack-a-Gif. I'll say 65.
No. The correct answer was 20.
Oh, God. Okay. Well, that's good. That nobody's
I don't
missed
think
more
I'm
than
gonna give you
20
the point
straight
for
free
that
throws. No, you cannot.
No, 65 would. He was a career like 50% free throw shooter, and he missed 20 in a row over multiple games.
Dang.
Next question. In 1999, Cal Boulder had blank personal fouls in a single game, and this is the NBA record.
Well, it has to be more than 6, because if it's the NBA record, that would imply, because like people have gotten, that would imply that he has more than 6, because like people have gotten, like plenty of players have fouled out since then, and
right.
The way you phrase that makes it sound like he is the sole record holder. Is that correct?
Yes, he is the sole record holder.
Okay. So, what year did you say this was again?
1999.
1999. I'm going to say 8.
Close. It was 7. And
okay.
It was just a technical error. The scorekeeper miscounted, and he instead of saying he had 6, they thought he had 5, and he fouled. So
yeah. That makes sense.
But I looked it up.
That does make sense.
That mistake kept him in the game for about 2 more minutes. He fouled like 2 minutes later, and then got taken out of the game. So it didn't really do much. But and then next up. Between the years 1959 and 1969, all right, 10-year period.
Okay.
How many 50-point games did Wilt Chamberlain have?
Repeat the years again?
Between the years 1959 and 1969, how many 50-point games did Wilt Chamberlain have?
So Michael Jordan has like 80 or just under 80. And I feel like he has significantly less than Wilt Chamberlain does. So I'm going to say like 120.
I'm going to give you the point for that one. The correct answer was 118.
Oh, okay.
So you were very close, yeah.
Okay.
118 50-point games
That's
between
so
1959
insane.
and
In
69.
10 years. I mean, and that was, the other thing was that was like his whole career. Like, he really only played like 13 years, I want to say. I think he played until like 72. So that makes sense.
I don't know, where is he? Do you know like where he is all time in scoring?
He's not top 10, I don't think.
Okay.
What is it? It's Kareem, Karl Malone, LeBron, Kobe, Michael Jordan is the top 5.
You just know that?
Yeah.
Nice.
I mean, well, because I know that LeBron passed Kobe, and then Kobe died the very next day. And then I remember that he had passed Michael Jordan like the year before. And then I knew that Kareem was the all-time leader because he's got like 38,000 points. And I knew Malone was the second all-time leader because he's a horrible person. And I just remember that.
That's a good way to remember it. I thought Kareem had like 42,000. Or am I making that up?
No. I think he only has like 38. I think you're thinking of like in NBA 2K, most of the time LeBron will finish as the all-time scoring leader and he'll have like 41,000 points. Okay. And I think there have been some estimates that like if he continued to play at this pace for like X amount of games, he could get up to 42,000 or something like that.
That's probably what it is, yeah.
Okay. Oh, Wilt is 7th. Dirk Nowitzki is 6th. So Wilt is in the top 10.
Imagine if he played as long as Kareem did.
That would be crazy. He is only like 140 points behind Dirk. That's crazy.
Yeah. And Dirk played for a long time.
He played 500 less games than Kareem Abdul-Jabbar.
Jeez. How far behind, like roughly how far behind is he from Kareem?
He is like less than 7,000 points away.
Oh, man. Okay. So, yeah, if he had, I don't know about if those 500 games would make up for it. Maybe it'd probably be close, though, at least. No,
if he played 500 more games, he would need that. He would have had to average like 14 points a game for the next 500 games to beat it, which he definitely could have done.
There, yeah. Okay.
Actually, I want to look at his last year. His last year, 2 years on the Lakers, he averaged like 13 and 15 points, so he might not have been able to do it.
So he was just old. Okay. Yeah. Or not old, but he was like past his prime.
Yeah,
I thought he might have retired for health reasons or something, because like
that was part. I mean, he died.
To play professional volleyball after he retired, but I also knew he liked to have sex a lot, and I thought it might have been a health issue.
He only played. So he played in the NBA from 1959 to 1973, which he would have been like 23 when he got to the league. So really, he would have been 37 at the end of his career. And I feel like Kareem played until he was 42.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay. Are you ready for the next question?
Yes.
This one might be one you're familiar with. In the 1968-69 season, Walt Bellamy played blank regular season games, as in amount of regular season games. How many did he play?
You said 1973?
No, 68-69 season.
Oh.
Walt Bellamy played blank amount of regular season games.
100. Oh, I know this one. It's like 85, I think, or 83, because he got traded like halfway through the season, and the team he was playing for had played more games than the team he got traded to.
All right, what's your final answer?
I'm gonna say 83.
Correct answer is 88. He played his first 35 games of the season with the New York Knicks, and he got traded to the Pistons, who by that point had only played 29 games, and then he finished out the season, and he didn't miss a game. So,
I feel like the NBA has not made a mistake like that since with scheduling. I feel like most teams are pretty much in sync at all times.
Yeah, maybe like a game or two here and there, but
yeah.
I guess they also make that up though because players don't play immediately, right? They usually take like
that's
2 games off to move and stuff.
Yeah, that's true.
All right, next question. This is similar to the last one, but between the years 1985 and 2001, AC Green played how many consecutive games without missing one?
Oh, okay. AC Green actually is super hilarious because he he did like an abstinence awareness video in like 1988, and it's very funny that he did that. I think Barry Sanders was in that. Sorry, that's just weird sports knowledge, but it's a very funny video. Oh, It Ain't Worth It. It's called It Ain't Worth It. It's with David Robinson's in it. Oh, crap. Okay.
That's the abstinence video?
Yeah, AC Green and David Robinson talk and rap about the power of not doing it. Also, Barry Sanders shows up with a basketball for some reason. Yeah, that's so weird.
Video.
Thank you for bringing up AC Green so I could share that with the podcast listeners. Okay. I'm going to say I feel like Robert Parrish had a similar streak, and I think his was like 1,500 games. I'm going to say it's like 2,000 games. I think it's like 2,041 or something insane like that.
So you're telling me that between the years 1985 to 2001,
that's true.
He played over 2,000 games.
That's true. He couldn't have played 2,000 games because
that's not possible.
Not mathematically possible. I'm going to say more like, I'm going to say 16, I'm going to say 1,700. Does it count the playoffs?
Yes, this is consecutive games.
I'm gonna say like 1,741. I feel like there's a 40 in there. I'm gonna say 1,700.
The correct answer is 1,192.
Oh, wow! He actually sucks.
He only played 1,000 consecutive games.
Trash.
But that has pretty much this type of record's never going to be broken because I don't know if it's the record, but something like that is never going to be broken because of a lot of obviously a lot of injuries now, but then in terms of load management and resting and stuff like that, I
don't know. AC Green was like a role player for most of his career. I feel like a guy like I guess Lou Williams or something could maybe have broken that. Like that sort of like type of player where he just comes in, he drops points, and then he comes out.
Yeah, I guess. I mean, yeah, at that point, then all you really got to worry about is injuries, but that does happen still. Next up, in 1990, the Phoenix Suns put up blank points in the first half, and this is the record for most amount of points scored in a half of basketball.
The most points scored in a half of basketball. It was like, I feel like it was like 100 points. Like 106, I want to say.
Is that your final answer?
Yeah.
The correct answer is 107.
Oh, come on.
So you were pretty much there.
I feel like I deserve that point.
Yeah, no, you're getting that point. Don't worry about it. You deserved it. They scored 50 in the first quarter, 57 in the second quarter, and finished the game with 173.
Yeah.
Wow. This season, they averaged about 114 points per game also. So pretty good, but 107.5 is unheard of. And then last one. This was pretty recent, so you might get this one. In both the 2012 and the 2013 seasons separately, Dwight Howard attempted X amount of free throws in a single game. And it's the same number in the 2012 season and the 2013 season. And it's the record for most attempted in a single game.
So he did this in separate games, and he tied his record the second time?
Yes. The first
Okay.
season he did it in Orlando. The second season he did it in Los Angeles, I think.
So James Harden has shot I feel like he shot 17 pretty regularly in a game. So it's definitely got to be a little more than that, maybe a lot more than that. I'm gonna say 34. That sounds right. 34 free throws.
The correct answer was 39.
Dang, that is a lot.
Yeah. I mean, it's Dwight Howard, so they probably just kept fouling him. But
Yeah, how many did he
30,
make?
I don't know. I didn't check that. But I can't imagine it was that many because they kept fouling him. So, but yeah, 2 separate games, 2 separate
That's true.
seasons, 2 separate teams, 39 free throws. Kind of crazy.
All right. That's
But yeah,
true.
those are all the ones I got. The other ones were either there's some that were who has the most assists all time in a game, which is obvious. Everyone knows
30,
that.
yeah.
Yeah. And then there was one that I found that it was you remember when we looked up that Miami Heat Cleveland Cavaliers game from the 90s, where it was the biggest point disparity between two teams in a game?
Yes.
So that was one of them that I found too. So there's a lot of fun stuff. I could definitely find more if we wanted to do another one of these at some point.
Yeah, that was fun.
But yeah, that's all I got for this episode. You got anything else?
No.
All right, cool. Be sure to like and subscribe if you want more. We upload every Sunday, or try to upload every Sunday anyway. We got our personal channels in the description. Aiden's got a football article in the description. We got the podcast Twitter, email, all that stuff. Check it out if you want to, and thanks for watching.
Yes. Bye.